Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to talk about the Tempest knives Fractus. So the Fractus here is the newest model from Tempest Knives. Our buddy Casey over at Knives Fast. Go give his channel a follow. Follow Tempest on Instagram. They're doing really cool stuff. Their last release was the Jetstream, and this was a hit. Sold these out. Which is really cool. I'm happy for him on that. This one's titanium and 154 cm for about 140 bucks. So really good value on this one. OEM by Kubi. You have the rear sort of tucked in flipper and a slot and a little bit of a wider, bigger knife here. And then a previous release was the Microburst, a smaller knife. This one I believe you can still get in Micarta and maybe in Stormtrooper. This one's under 100 bucks, 14C, 28N, and Micarta or G10. Now this newest release is the Fractus. This is going to be a pre-order sometime in January, he said. And this one is OEM'd by Concept Knives. So very cool stuff. We know that Concept can do some pretty cool work because they did the Divo knives Lush for us, and we really enjoyed working with them. Their quality is really good for the price point. They're right there with Kubi, I think, with that price to quality to value ratio. So we don't have an exact price on this, but I know it's going to be, I believe, under $250, possibly well under. I just don't know exactly, so I can't sit here and tell you, and I don't want to be wrong, so I'm not going to say anything too low. You have the Tempest logo here, and then the steel marking, which is CPM S90V. You have titanium, which is sort of shadow boxing this really nice inlay in weave carbon fiber. There's also a Arctic Storm fat carbon version, and I'm not sure if there's going to be any other versions like a black wash or something like that. You'll have to check out Casey on his channel for the details on that. I got an early look at this, so not everything has been decided yet. And yeah, for under $250 with these materials, I think it's fantastic. I mean, it's top-notch build quality. Concept really did a good job with this. If you put this in my hands and told me it was a $300 to $350 knife, I don't think I would question it. So that's how good, this build is. That's how good this design is. I think he really killed it with this super contoured handle, micro milling across the board here on the titanium. That inlay being in the center there instead of just like a cut inlay makes it look really, really nice. You have this sort of sub frame lock, sort of bolster lock thing going on that works extremely well as a lefty. And a lot of it has to do with the contouring. It contours so your finger really never hits the lock bar. So you can rest your finger wherever you want as a lefty and not have to worry about locking it up or anything like that. The detent on this is really good. I think it's just about perfect. Maybe slightly stronger would be cool. This is a prototype, so he's taking feedback. And so maybe slightly stronger. But I think it's basically perfect. The jimping is really cool. You have these two spots of jimping, one sort of Vox style and one back here. So if you're choking back, it's really comfortable right here with that, or right here. It is pretty aggressive. I like it. Now, if I'm choked up, my thumb lands right in the middle here. So I would really like this jimping to extend all the way. Now, I know aesthetically that's going to change things because it does give it a pretty badass look having those two patches. But functionally, I think having that extra spot there would be pretty good. But maybe larger hands, you just use that. I'm not sure. But for me, I land right in the middle. They are going to add some chamfer right here. They did not do that on the prototype, but we're supposed to. So there should be a chamfer on the lock bar here to make it more comfortable. There's good access to it. This is a machine satin. So it's a very good machine satin by Concept, but it's not a belt satin. So a belt satin would be like this, where somebody does it by hand. You tend to get more fingerprints that way, but you can see that really clean vertical lines. It's done by hand, where this is done on a CNC machine, but that's one of the reasons the price can be what it is. So I think for that, it looks really good. The action is stellar. Fires out of there, no problem. We have T6s on everything except the pivot, which is T8. And this is the clip screw, and you can actually reverse the clip. Now, when you reverse this clip, it cants off to the side and it doesn't work. But he's figuring out a way to, I think, just include a lefty clip so that it will work for lefties, which is very cool. You do have a very generous finger choil that fits the hand really, really well. It's an 8-inch knife, so I don't have my measuring tape right here, but I can compare it to some stuff. Like here is the stout 3.3-inch blade, 7.65 overall on the stout. So you're looking at an 8-inch knife, 3.5-inch blade. Pretty standard size, I would say, for those of you who like larger knives. It's going to be, I think, the same exact size as the Jetstream. Yeah, pretty much identical. The blade to handle ratio is fantastic. It really looks good. I was a little concerned in the pictures I saw, but nope, in person came out perfectly. You can see that blade looks nice. It tucks into the handle. You don't have much space there. The clip is nice. I would think a little bit thicker would be good on the clip to make that material a little thicker, but it does work extremely well. It really just fires out. I mean, that's the one thing that stands out to me is it just cannons out of there, and it has a really nice acoustic to it. I really dig it. One of the other feedback things I gave him was when I got this on the live stream, there's a little bit of a rattle, but it's the stop pin right here that just got a little loose. So they just need to make the stop pin slightly bigger to fit into those slots a little bit tighter. All I did was drop a little Loctite on each side and then wipe it off, and it just settled in there. And then now we have no rattle. So not a big deal, easy fix, but since it's a prototype, they can fix that in production. One other thing I noted was this pivot is not captive, it spins. So what I would recommend is either tool it on both sides, so make sure there's a T8 over on this side as well, or obviously get a D-shape or a captive or however you can do that. I know, again, he asked for that. They just didn't do it on the prototype. That happens all the time. You just have to tweak stuff going into production. So not a big deal, just something I wanted to note. The slow roll is money, as you can see. Really enjoy that. Enjoy the thumb flick. Enjoy the reverse flick. I mean, it's got all the flickies, and it's really good. I mean, I can even do that move. I can't do that on anything, really. I haven't spine whacked it. No issue there. Yeah, it feels really good. Maybe this corner right here is a little sharp, but I mean, it usually is on a knife. Yeah, I wouldn't even count that as a nitpick, honestly. One other thing I thought would be cool is if these relief cuts could be internal. I feel like that would just set it over the top, but it doesn't interfere with going in the pocket at all. And I will say, I've noticed on knives where the relief cut is internal, you tend to have softer detents in a way. It's hard to explain, but the acoustics and sometimes the detent is just not as good. But I don't know if that's just coincidence or something. I can't really correlate that to anything. So, but, you know, that's one reason to maybe leave it alone. Plus, it works really well the way it is. Yeah, overall, this is an absolute winner. I mean, you have a nice flat grind. Comes down to a really thin edge down here. You got a pretty tall blade, so you know this thing is going to slice for days with that S90V steel. You have, of course, a spear point, drop point blade. That's pretty much what Tempest, what Casey really likes. He did do a sheep's foot on the microburst, but for the most part, he does these sort of spear point blades. This one's definitely a little more aggressive. I like it a whole lot. I think this is their best model so far. It's excellent in the hand. I think it's a good size for, 90% of the collectors out there are going to be fine with a 3.5-inch blade. And the price point is on point. It's going to be a really good one. So keep your eyes up for the pre-order if you're interested. I will link Tempest knives down below. I'll link Casey down below. But support it. It's fantastic. And I would love to see this guy do really well on the pre-order. So I love you guys. Thank you to Casey. I really appreciate you sending this my way, brother. Always appreciate getting to check stuff out. You can really see Casey is dialing in the details. Now, on this, he went more premium, so he had more leeway to get more detailed, where if you go budget, you got to be careful because you don't want to make it too expensive. But, I mean, just looking at this design overall, it just has such a clean look to it. I dare say it's bordering on that Sharp by Design, Liang Ma sort of level of detail that, normally you're going to pay $400 for. So, yeah, I'm really impressed with it, and I'm very happy for my friend as well. So I'm definitely going to be biased, but I don't think there's any reason to be biased. I think this is just an absolute banger. So check it out, the Fractus from Tempest Knives. Love you. Hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.